You've heard us talk about them. They're in, and they're on the website.
Absolutely. Our brand new America's Diesel podcast, branded bills, badass, flex fit, performance material, sweat stain resistant. It literally feels like it cools your head.
I don't know how that's
amazing.
possible, but somehow it is. Yeah, you can rock it. You know, I'm more of a flat bill kind of guy. You can do that. You can curve it. For all you taco holder guys, you can even throw that in there.
Yeah.
And then snap back with a little bit of the flex fit.
Yeah.
Big head approved, small head approved.
And it's extremely comfortable. I almost guarantee, I say almost guarantee. No, I guarantee this is the most comfortable hat you will ever wear. And the logo, rubber, awesome.
Yeah.
Came out great.
Super detailed rubber on there, so it's never going to fade on you. If you want to get one of these in your hands, they are $50, shipped to the lower 48, plus tax, if applicable in your state. Just go on the dieselpowerproducts.com, search hat, look for the fantastic Jam and Eagle logo, pick yourself up some before they're out of stock.
Yeah.
You're listening to America's Diesel Podcast.
I've been gathering videos, clips of Bigfoot that I find on Instagram.
Oh.
Like ones that I think possibly could be real. I'm gonna gather them all up from like a couple months. We're gonna go through them and we're gonna figure out. we're gonna figure this out.
Well,
all right.
Is it if he's real or what he's packing?
Both.
Okay.
So you're going to have to teach him how to screen record.
Yeah.
No, he tried. Remember?
Well, I didn't want to. He needs to download the widget. And then he can do it.
Yeah, I don't need to do that. I've just been saving them that I find on Instagram. Some of them obviously fake. Helen Keller could see that they're fake.
Yeah.
Some of them though, never know.
If this is your first time
Analyze.
listening to America's Diesel Podcast, just know that the tangents are frequent.
Listen, I've had a Bigfoot infatuation for quite a long time. All right, we live in the Pacific Northwest. This is home ground.
It's true.
Long like Red Rocket or no?
That is a question. Scientists have not explored that question thoroughly enough. I do not believe. And if there is a large creature out there
Or large
roaming
like,
around,
A large three-legged creature.
like the stud.
Yeah.
you guys go straight to penis. All right, all right.
We're talking about Sasquatch. I mean, it's not.
Listen, I
It's
understand it's a question that has not been posed yet. All right, about his member size. All right, I'm gathering evidence. All right, and we can analyze it together.
Analyze it.
You will analyze it with your boxers with a hole in the back.
So we just got off a Instagram live session, and someone said that the.
I got it right here.
Yeah, pull it up or read it here.
I got it. It's Ben, having your flannel buttoned up that far makes you look like you wear your boxers with the dick hole in the back.
Full disclosure, I've never heard that
insult.
before.
That is a great one.
And as a response, first off, like I have, you could roast the shit out of me. It's fine. I love it because 9 times out of 10, I'll come back with some savage shit.
See, yeah, he'll come back with it immediately. 3 days will pass by and I'll come back with something and I'm already too late.
But the, I think my shirt is like appropriately buttoned. Like I see nothing wrong with it. And that's time I'm like, is it?
You start questioning maybe it's just the way that my flannel is built.
Like
There is quite the gap in between. Actually, that's kind of a normal gap in between buttons. I think it's just the size of the button that makes it look.
Maybe, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Buttons on the wrong side, maybe. No.
This is a man's shirt, I promise.
This week's podcast episode is brought to you by Fuel Bomb Diesel Additive, an additive designed for diesel enthusiasts, made by diesel enthusiasts. Ben, take it away.
Hell yeah, dude. So this is our in-house Fuel Bomb fuel additive for your diesel truck. Our biggest thing here is making sure that you can pretty much always have diesel additive on you all the time. You've got a lot of other additives out on the market that they have, anti-gel in there all the time. They have cetane in there all the time. They end up being big and bulky bottles. Our standard everyday diesel fuel additive is 1 ounce per 32 gallons, and that's its main job is to make sure that your fuel system stays lubricated and prevents the formation of algae. And it should also help you in colder climates too.
Should definitely help you in colder climates. along with cleaning your fuel system and maintaining it, it'll also help you bump that cetane number up for a more efficient burn of your diesel fuel. And if cetane is just what you're after, there's the Fuel Bomb Hellfire, which is our straight 8+ cetane enhancer.
Yeah, and you guys asked, and we brought them back. We did go away from the bottles that didn't have the measuring little parts in there. We brought them back for you, so now you can measure out your 1 ounce per 32 gallons for the F-Bomb or 4 ounces per 32 gallons for the Hellfire.
Both these additives are available on our website, dieselpowerproducts.com. Now let's get back to that episode.
Well, let's get this intro out of the way now that we've talked about nothing to do with trucks. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Ben Todd from America's Diesel Podcast, coming to you from Spokane, Washington. Bigfoot's HQ, I guess, where he goes to see his doctor about his downstairs area, which we're going to find out, apparently. You can find us on Google Play, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Find us on there by searching America's Diesel Podcast. Make sure and check out our Facebook group. We do have a group that is rapidly growing. Just search on Facebook. It's America's Diesel Podcast - the group. There are 3 questions that you have to answer to get in. There are many right answers. There are also many wrong answers. They are all approved or denied by me. I'm doing my best I can to keep the bots and people that don't actually listen to the podcast out, because I want to make sure that folks that are in there, because things do get a little spicy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. It's a good reason. Good thing, though. But that's the best place to have the conversations, get the threads going, talk a little bit of smack, post some pictures, have a good time. So make sure and check that out if you feel up to it. Tyler Reviews.
Oh, yeah. Keep those reviews coming in. We are moving up in the ranks, and we greatly appreciate every single one of you that leaves one. Leave a 5-star review on any of the platforms that Ben mentioned. Screenshot that review. Send it to podcast@dieselpowerproducts.com. Make sure you include a picture of your truck and an address so we can send a decal to it. It looks just like the logos on our hats.
If you need parts for diesel pickup, make sure and check out dieselpowerproducts.com. If you see the quick ship logo, it's in stock, ready to rock. If you have questions, call us. Talk to a sales technician. Well, don't call us. Maybe call us. I don't know. Talk to a sales tech. They'll get you an answer probably faster than me and Tyler can. Tyler and I used to be on these sales calls, but we have since moved on to other things inside the company.
Yep.
I'm not saying we're unreachable, but if you need to get an answer quick, I would talk to the sales technicians.
Yeah.
They're on the phones 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific time. Make sure to let them know you're a podcast listener. You receive absolutely nothing monetarily. However, it does let the guys upstairs know that we're not down here just drinking beer, farting around, but doing all the above, and it's correlating to sales. Because money makes the world go round.
Yep.
And I do want to give a special thank you to all of you listeners that have actually placed orders with us.
Yeah.
I know this particular episode is probably coming out in late January, possibly early February. But we had our final end of the year meeting, which a lot of companies do about a week ago. And you guys have showed up big time.
Yeah.
I want you guys to keep showing up. I greatly appreciate all you guys spending your hard-earned money with Diesel Power Products, and I hope that we're giving you a good buying experience. And the one thing that I can offer you guys, as far as since you're not getting any money off by being like a podcast listener, and some of you have taken advantage of it. I don't want to say taken advantage, like you have, like when you have issues with an order, because not everyone's going to go perfect, but that's where I step in.
Yeah.
That's where, and if you're a podcast listener, oh fuck, bud.
Yeah.
I'm not
You're
gonna.
in.
Yeah, I'm not saying like it's pretty much like good to go, move the mountains, but if I play favorites.
Yeah.
I'll always state I play favorites.
Yeah.
But if you're a podcast listener and I see like there's possibly like a shipping delay or something like that, or I get eyes need to be on your order, I get in there, I step on toes.
If there's something,
I steamroll other people. I'm like, nope, this is it. This is going there. This is going that.
Yeah.
Just do it.
If it's within our means to be able to get something done, we will do everything in our power to make sure it gets done.
Yeah. We have a separate line of communication between the back of the house. We just kind of
show up.
things just kind of make happen.
I show up, I bring a sticky note.
Yeah.
I say, hey.
and I should get you some like monogrammed sticky notes, like from the desk of Tyler Lucas.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you've received a sticky note.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that.
That's what we should just send people when they put their name on an order. You received a sticky note from Tyler's desk.
Yeah.
Might have some random dude's phone number on it. I don't know.
Might be snot. Who knows? Sticky notes are multi-use.
Multi-use.
So let's get this podcast on the road. So this episode, and it feels like we've come across this a lot more lately. I know Corey has talked to one of them. The third voice you hear on here is Corey, as a sales technician, also the man behind the scenes here at the podcast. But it seems like there are a lot of shops out there that shouldn't be doing what they're doing. like bad practices, but also working on trucks that they have no business touching.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Or just taking advantage of people.
Yeah, and that gets me more. You know what? I'm not sure what gets me more fired up. The folks that, like, for example, we're going to dive into it more, but start working on a 7.3 and have no idea what Huey is.
Yeah.
As opposed to the person who, you know, just tries to flat out take advantage of someone. Because I assume the take advantage of someone, that's like normal practice, so they just do that to everybody.
Right.
And I'm not saying like you shouldn't screw over Huey guys, but like taking on that truck and be like, oh yeah, we know what we're doing, and you have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah.
No clue.
Yeah.
So let's go over some of these scenarios real quick here.
Let's do it.
I want to talk about the 7.3 one because I'm a 7.3 guy. Beer has not hit my lips yet.
Yeah.
Here.
Okay, feel better.
I feel much better
Okay.
now. Got my
All
barley juice. So, and Corey, you're going to have to help me on this one a little bit because you talked to him a little bit too.
Yeah.
So, give us the kind of the premise.
So the first issue was the guy had no idea what he was doing when he installed it. I forget the year, but it was a H-pop he was installing on his own.
And it was a Super Duty. I remember that.
It was Super Duty, yeah. But he installed the H-pop and had hard start issues. Took it to a shop, and the shop just deemed the H-pop bad. Brand new H-pop. And
I think it was a CNC Fab H-pop too, if I recall correctly.
I think so.
Basically, a high pressure oil
Or
pump.
full force, one of the two.
Oh, dude, that has like a no failure rate.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the DOA just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's few and far between. I don't think I've ever seen H-pop DOA out of, you know, any of the ones that we have. But so he asked us to call the shop, and I did. And it was actually pretty appalling. You were on the line too, just kind of listening in. And
Yeah.
I initially asked, like, you know, how did you come to terms with H-pop being bad? And pretty much they just said they plugged in their computer and said, oh, the H-pop is bad.
Red flag number 1.
Yeah. You cannot do that
Yeah.
on a 7.3.
But with most vehicles, we're not even talking just diesel. There's really no scan tool out there that's you're just gonna plug in and be like, oh, bad. It just doesn't.
There's that
Listen,
one
there's
code on the 3rd gen that is
You mean 2nd gen?
2nd gen, yes.
But yeah, okay. That yes, there's the one, but most every other vehicle, it's not going to happen.
No.
A scan tool is there to give the technician an idea on where the issue is occurring. You could have an issue you could have a code for a map sensor, but it could be a fueling issue. You know what I mean? So it just gives them an idea on what area of the truck is sensing the issue, and then you have to further diagnose. It's not going to just tell you, oh, you need to replace injector number 5. Also, you need to replace the band in the transmission on, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not going to do that. It's there as a tool to help the tech, which is then supposed to have the knowledge to be able to interpret that knowledge and then make an educated decision based on also other tests to fix the vehicle.
Yeah, and I think the biggest takeaway from what you just said right there is in the very beginning, you get a code for a map sensor.
Yeah.
What we're gonna if maybe you're listening to this because you're trying to find a shop for your diesel or something like that, and maybe you've never hooked up a scan tool or anything like that. So, and you may have heard that I've got a code for this, I got a code sensor, I got a code for this, and it's you don't get a code that says map sensor.
I will say though, some OBD2 style scan tools will give you common problems.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's like hooked up to Wi-Fi, some of them will give you common, solutions to that code.
Yeah.
But it's just going off of a database saying, oh, a person got this code, replaced this, it fixed it. That doesn't mean it's happening. The same thing's happening.
Or they
to your
might
vehicle.
recommend, next diagnosis, do this.
Yeah.
But when someone says, I got a code for a map sensor, basically what that is saying is the scan tool is hooked up to the truck and a code saying manifold air pressure sensor. And what that means is the manifold air pressure sensor, your map sensor, your boost sensor, your boost sensor. First off, you need 2 boob sensors, right?
Yeah, there needs to be 2. We don't want no uniboob here.
Yeah.
We need 2 boob sensors.
2 boob sensors. But it's
Pressure
basically
and temperature.
Yeah. Is there a drive pressure? Can we do a drive pressure on there?
Why not?
Why not? Oh, you could do a some DPF sensors on there to test fullness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe an ambient.
Yeah.
Just to help
All
you
of it.
decide.
Yeah. This is a good tangent.
Who doesn't like boobs?
Boobs are tight,
I
man.
love boobs.
It's basically saying like the map sensor or the computer is reading the map sensor and it's saying, yo, something ain't right. Like that's the best way I can put it. It's like, hey, look at me. Hey.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the most rudimentary way to think of it. Now, later model cars and higher tech scan tools, you can dive deeper into that. You can read the voltage at the sensor.
Yeah.
You can read what the sensor's reading and then make your determination if maybe there's something else going on. But usually it's like you get a map sensor code and then, and then you have like a laundry list of codes after that.
Yeah.
And then you clear all the codes, start the truck or something like that. It's like ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
ding. And you start saying like, well, all those sensors couldn't be bad. No, you're right. You may very well just have a massive boost leak.
Yeah.
And it's like the first thing that hit it was the map sensor. Then it's
Right.
going to throw off fueling.
Yeah.
It's going to throw off your exhaust temperature. It's going to throw off all this other. Just start
and
throwing it down the line.
And some codes are what they call a 2-trip fault. So it has to happen like 2 times in a row for it to throw a code for it. And again, like if it was a boost leak, obviously that map sensor is going to be right there. It's the first thing that's going to measure it. And it's okay, this is off. And then you cycle the key, start it up again, and then it might start throwing a fueling issue because now the ECM isn't seeing the right amount of boost. It's not feeling correctly per that sensor. So it's but again, just like you said, even on newer trucks, they can look deeper, but that's only as good as the person looking at it.
Exactly.
Because if they don't know what they're looking at, they'll be like, oh, it looks good to me. It's moving. Like,
Well, then what's it reading? Because
Yeah.
there are basically 3 things with a sensor. A sensor can tell you, something's wrong. And when they say something's wrong, it doesn't mean, oh, too high, too low. It just means sometimes I might tell you that, but for the most part, it's just like, I'm supposed to be reading like X and I'm getting Z.
yeah.
Or I'm getting not X.
Yeah.
And it's up to you to like, okay, well, I can read the voltage of the sensor. Okay, it's oscillating, it's doing something, and I can read what the sensor is telling the computer as far as like a boost number or something like that. Okay,
Yeah.
and then again, it's up to the technician to decipher all of that and start making moves to get the right thing replaced.
Yep.
So getting back to this the 7.3 guy, and this was the hardest part that I had to swallow about this at the very end, and we'll loop back to it, but it was a dealership.
It was, yeah.
It was a fucking dealership.
Yeah.
And this is where things get really.
working on a Huey truck at a Ford dealership, like technology for them has
imagine-
been long gone for them. And
Yeah, but I have to imagine there's somebody there that's got to have a little bit of knowledge.
There's probably one guy, and
Right.
he probably works part time.
or the service writers at least know, yes, we're a Ford dealership. That's an older Ford. We don't have someone here that works on those. They
Right.
should at least know that. They shouldn't
But
just,
they won't.
but they don't.
Yeah.
And
They
so,
don't and they won't.
so as Corey's talking to him, I'm messaging him because we're in separate rooms.
So yeah, what did he say? What was his?
So we were trying to get a lot of the, ICP, IPR, all the data. How'd you determine? Like what's the percentage? What are the readings? And they were just like almost baffled, like that we were asking all these questions. Like the service writer dude was just like, he wouldn't pull like the actual tech that was working on the truck because he was pulling a dash.
Yeah, and then it was the best part. We're like, and I'm listening to this. And I'm like, cool. If he's not going to get the tech, then tell the service writer we need these things: IPR, ICP, fuel pressure, all this other stuff. And you can hear the guy just like,
Yeah, didn't even look at any of that stuff.
Well, he's really busy. I don't know if he's going to get back to. Cool, just have him get that stuff to me, because if he's able to determine just by plugging into the truck that the high pressure oil pump's bad, then he should be able to have that data.
Right.
Yeah.
He should have that. You can't just.
Yeah.
We even asked about like deadheading, and the guy was like pretty lost.
Well, and here's another red flag. If you are somewhat knowledgeable, or you listen to this podcast and you listen to Ben ramble on about 7.3 stuff, about checking all this stuff, and you ask you ask that service writer or you ask whoever you're talking to there. Could be, if it's a smaller shop, you could be talking to the tech that was working on it. If at any point this technician is starting to get frustrated with you because you're asking questions, go grab your truck and take it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because you're just setting yourself up for probably going to get taken advantage of more, because now this guy, you know, you are questioning his ability or his knowledge on whatever. And again, if there's any sort of point where this becomes a frustration on their end, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
Because a tech that knows what they're doing should have zero problem. Yeah, I checked that, and it's this, and it's this, and everything looks good there. And then, you know, that's how I determined that there's nothing wrong with being able to, like, when I worked at a dealership, like the guy that I worked with when I first started there, which I'm still friends with today, he's a great dude. And our write-ups that we had to like write up for how we diagnosed, like we were always super in depth with what we wrote, what we tested, because I don't want those questions coming back to me. I don't want to see the truck again for the same issue. Like that. That's just not something I want to. For me personally, that's like a hit on my own credibility when a truck comes back, with the same issue. So if it's a reputable shop and if they know what they're doing, they should have no problem in telling you those things. And even so, they should be happy that you are asking that you have the wherewithal to ask those particular questions on how it was diagnosed.
Yeah, like, and I remember writing that kind of stuff too, and because I wanted whatever I was recommending or whatever the next move was to be such a slam dunk for the service writer.
Yeah, that it's easy for them to sell.
That I can almost just start even work on it before it's approved. Yeah, because it's like there's no way to like, well, shit, that is the only other thing left to do. Okay, let's do that first.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's especially with 7.3 stuff too, and it's I've had that conversation with people on the phone before as well. It's like, well, how are you determining, or even with other stuff too, how are you determining that this is your answer? And they always get so defensive immediately.
Yeah.
And I get that. Like, I'm just some guy over the phone.
Yeah.
Okay. I get that. But also, you know, it sounds like you need some help, or you need maybe another, you know, if you could figure this out on your own, we wouldn't be talking.
Right.
Or if you had the resources or your own resource to help you with this, we wouldn't be talking.
Right.
You know, for all I know, you may have Googled how to do something. You pulled up one of our own fucking podcasts.
Yeah.
Like how to rebuild an IPR. You didn't even know what the fucking IPR was.
Right.
You know, for all I know, you're doing that.
Yeah.
But when I ask, you know, how did you come to this conclusion? Well, the computer said so. The computer can't tell you that. How did you come to that conclusion? Well, the numbers just aren't there. What numbers? Tell me the numbers.
Yeah.
Well, it won't start. I get that. What are the numbers? What's the IPR? What's the ICP? Well, what are those? If you're asking me what are those, you shouldn't be working on the truck. Now, let's find out those numbers.
Yeah.
I'm happy to walk you through it. Let's have 10 phone calls today.
Yeah.
Let's all learn something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting paid. Are you getting paid?
Yeah.
Well, no, not right now. You overtime. Let's get you fucking paid, bro. Like,
because it doesn't hurt our feelings when we get a part sent back and it gets checked and it's fine. It actually,
it makes me sad because we wasted all of our time.
Yeah.
And you very, very well may have cost yourself and whoever's truck you were working on more money.
Yep.
Whereas, like, think about it. If you had just taken the 10 phone calls with me for an afternoon, the guy would have been done, paid for it, out and gone. He's happy with you. You're happy with me. He's happy with me. I'm happy with both of you. Everybody's happy about it. Everybody's happy about it. But now you said, this part's junk. We're sending it back. I guarantee you it's bad. We're going to source one of my own that I know is good. And then you put it in the truck. And guess what? Here's what I love and what I hope happens to people that do that. You put it in the truck and you have the same issue. And then that's when you start to, I need to learn what's going on here.
Yeah.
And then that's when you realize what the real problem was.
Yeah.
But you're too far in and you can't say, well, turns out it wasn't the hype. Nope. Yeah, but fix it. Their part sucks.
Yeah.
And you send it back and we test it. Not we, but whatever manufacturer like CNC or Full Force, and they test and they go, this thing's perfectly fine.
Yeah. I think another red flag that just you made me think of. Now, some shops will want to use their own parts, right? Mm-hmm. I can tell you right now, we spend a lot of time in vetting parts and making sure that the parts that we sell are not shit. If we have a part that turns out to be shit, we get rid of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that plain and simple. We don't want to we don't want the bad reviews on our website for something that was completely out of our, well, it's not out of our control, and it is out of our control because obviously we're not manufacturing the parts. But if we have a run of a bad pump or something like that, it makes us look bad because guess who you spent your money with? It's us.
Mm-hmm.
And guess who gets the bad reviews? Not the manufacturer. It's us for selling you the part.
Yeah.
And so again, if at any point where you buy a part from us and you bring it to a shop and they don't want to install it because they want to install your own part, I get that with, there's only one aspect of a truck that I get that with, and that's with transmissions and building transmissions.
Mm-hmm.
I could understand that. Transmission builders are a different breed of individual. They are going to use what they know works. Although the kits that we sell are in high performance transmissions that get sold every day that hold a massive amount of horsepower, but still, these guys want to use their own parts, their own brand of clutches, their own, and that's fine.
A lot of it's because they've perfected their craft over the last 15 years.
And this is what works for them.
Yes.
And I get that 100%. But when it comes to turbos, injectors, engine parts in general, performance parts that we sell, the local shop ain't going to have a better injector than what we're selling.
No.
It's not going to happen. They're not going to have a better turbo.
Yeah. And I totally get that when, if I was on my side of a shop, you and I both, having worked in shops before, I get why shops are like that. For them to be able to want to cover their own ass and offer a warranty and not worry about comebacks, that's fine, because it usually ends up pretty dirty in the end. And the way that that happens is the customer goes by and buys a eBay Wing Wong China whistle.
Sure.
And then, puts that on their $60,000 truck.
Right.
And you may have installed it perfectly.
Yeah.
You've done a million of them before. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
But the quality of this, eBay Ching Chong, whistle is not there.
Right.
And it blows up. And then the customer is mad at you. Yeah. And when you say the turbo failed, like your turbo that you bought on eBay failed.
Yeah.
It's still your fault. They're still going to get mad at you.
I get that. But if you walk into a shop with a fleece box in your hand.
Oh, yeah. They shouldn't have any qualms about that.
They should not be having. They should be like, hell yeah, brother. Badass.
Well, and that's the other side of this, too. I was kind of getting at there. Is like, if you bring a part to a shop and they're like, where'd you buy that from? Or maybe
Diesel Power Products, baby.
Or you can say, like, maybe for some reason they've been living on the fucking rock and they don't know who Fleece is.
Yeah.
And they're like, who the hell is Fleece Performance?
Yeah.
They Google Fleece Performance. You realize, holy shit, these guys are legit. Where'd you buy it from? Can we just make sure that all of the bases are covered here? Like, oh, yeah. And I've had shops call in like, hey, does this thing, how is this? I'm like, dude, we sell these by the fucking pallet.
Yeah.
Like, you can be happy with this. Like, the return rate's virtually zero.
Yeah.
If you have an issue, make sure he has his original receipt. I would, if I were in your shoes as a shop, I would photocopy his receipt just for your own records.
Yeah.
You never know. Like, I'm not saying, I'm trying to make things easier for you should something happen. And just, make sure that that's a great product. You're going to be good. And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Like, and where you're located? Oh, we're in Spokane. Oh, so I'm not talking to like some Indian guy. Like, no, dude, my name's Ben. Go to the website. See that picture? That's me, dude.
Yeah.
Like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the end of the story, basically, of that is he ended up pulling it out and taking it to what he left the dealership.
Yeah, I still don't know what shop he ended up going to. So.
Sir, if you're listening, I'd love to hear more about that. And if you're trying to diagnose that on your own, I'd love to try and help you with it. But I can tell you right now, you're going to need either a scan tool or an Edge Insight. Because I am not going to try and backyard mechanic diagnose that. I'll do the best I can, but we're going to get about 30 minutes into a phone call, and if all the easy, quick backyard side of the road things don't work, you need to get some data.
Yeah.
And then we can go from there.
Yeah.
But if so facto, long story short on that particular one, if you have a 7.3 or 6.0, I'm not trying to say they're super special, but they are a different breed. They're HUE injection, hydraulic electronic unit injection. They are not normal.
Yeah. Well, and with shops too, the technicians are getting younger. People that are used to working on those type of trucks are getting to the point where they might be retiring or they, might be moving on to something else. So, there's a lot of youngins out there that might have no idea about HUE injection, or they know about it from like CAT engines.
Yeah.
But
Or they know that 6.0s sound cool and they're tuned.
Yeah.
And straight pipe,
Right.
and that's about it. Which
Yeah.
I get, like,
Yeah.
and they may know the basics as far as diagnosing, but diving into something, diving into a basket cave with something like that. Don't be afraid to like shop around for a shop, because when you find, if you have a Huey truck and you'll know the shops that are good at 7.3s or 6.0s, because it'll be full of them.
Yep.
First off,
Yeah.
and it's not because they're always breaking down, but it's because there's a lot of them out there.
There's a lot of them.
There's
yes.
more 7.3s and 6.0s out there. Like, you got to remember, the whole stigmata 6.0s are shit. They outsold everything every fucking year they came out.
Yeah.
By a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
And they all need work. They're all getting 10, maybe 20 years old now. It's just time for them to get work done. The other thing there too is, if you ask a private shop point blank, like, are you guys good at working on 7.3s and 6.0s? They should either say, hell yeah, dude, we got it.
Yeah.
Like, do them all the time.
Or if they say, well, we have a diesel guy.
Yeah, I got a guy.
If we have a diesel guy is the only thing that they say.
Yep, fuck them.
Yeah. That red flag number 4.
Yeah, is your diesel guy? Does he know 7.3 and 6.0s? Don't just say like, oh, he's a diesel guy.
He's a diesel. We have one diesel guy.
Yeah, because just keep in mind, I would consider myself a diesel guy. I
Yeah.
know 7.3 and 6.0s. Pretty good with Cummins stuff. You put me in front of a Duramax,
Yeah.
and I'm the guy at that dealership on the phone. They'd be like, do you have this data? I'd be like, nope, but I'm gonna find out.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, man, I know how to get rail pressure and like scan shit.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, but it's like I wouldn't say no one's all three, because there are all three out there.
Oh,
but
yeah,
like,
yeah.
there's those that they kind of have their forte, and
Sure.
you're going to be able to find that shop that does it.
Yeah.
Now, the other red flag and story we're going to talk about with the shop is, we've already touched on it a little bit before, but it was a local shop here. And
Oh, it was not going to name any names.
well, you did in the previous podcast.
All I did was Davis Diesel.
Yeah. Fucking love you.
Yeah, that one was.
I was pissed at the end of that. Like, genuinely upset. I can't believe.
What he got quoted $24,000, and then the guy turned around and offered him like $3,500 for the truck.
Yeah, I think it was 35 or 4,000.
Red flag number 5. If they offer to buy your truck at a severely discounted price because they quoted you so high to fix it, leave.
Yeah.
Leave. Call. That's the one thing that I really like about us here is, although we're just a retailer essentially, if you need advice, call us. Like, I can't tell you how many phone calls I've taken that didn't result in me selling them something, but at least I got them pointed in the right direction. And guess what? That person now is going to reach out to us when they need parts, because they know that we at least gave them the honest, the honest and best information of that we could have done. And that's hard to find with any store nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. I talk about my dishwasher thing quite a bit. I'm still battling this dishwasher issue. This place that I was finding these parts from, I think they kind of follow suit, kind of the same way that we are. Because I literally called them for advice on something, and they have a really good tech department that gave me information that I was able to run some tests and try to figure something out that I know nothing about. I know nothing. I know how to hook it up to power. I know how to do that. But they at least pointed me in some sort of a direction, and that's why I like us so much, because we don't feel bad. Like, we're not going to treat you differently for just calling us for advice, because we know you're going to call us back.
Yeah.
When you need something.
It's true, and that was one of the. Like, it sounds like we're tooting our horns here, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna toot away, toot toot. But that was one of the things that
show
actually,
me another shop that does that.
Yeah, that was one of the things that actually kept me here in the beginning.
Yeah,
because I came here super green. I mean, you remember that? Like, I never had a phone sales job. I never had a sales job, and the fact that it was like, yes, there is an urgency. When the calls stack up, you need to kind of get through them. You got to get do what you got to do there, but. When you can, if you need to have a 40-minute conversation with somebody that results in maybe $0 or like $100 sale or something like that, take the time.
Yeah.
Call them back. Have that conversation with them, because we want that guy to feel extremely confident, or gal, whatever. Yeah. Feel confident that, they can call us and get the real deal. They can get the real advice. And if they place an order on the website, it's from good advice.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, folks, but most people that maybe buy their first truck or buy a truck or something like that, it's not their first diesel.
Right.
Or if it is their first diesel, it won't be their last.
Right.
They're going to buy multiple trucks. You buy newer trucks, parts get more and more expensive, and you're dealing with more, like you're playing with fire, hotter and hotter fire. Who do I trust?
Yeah.
You trust us. I love the fact that they're like every so often I still get an email from, a guy that I helped in 2015.
Well, I got that phone call from Ian Haas was his name.
Mhm.
So when I was in sales and there was a customer that we had, his name is Ian Haas. Ian, if you're listening, shout out, brother.
Saw, dude.
He was a power stroke. He had an Excursion actually.
Mhm.
And this is back when we were selling the SCTs with custom tunes for 6 liters.
Well, the gearhead tunes?
They weren't gearhead
Okay.
at the time. There was an issue with his tuner, an issue with something that got some. I can't remember exactly what happened, but I remember. I do remember having multiple conversations trying to help this guy out. And he was one of the cool guys that was like, "Listen, I know it's not you, and I know you're doing everything in your power to get this taken care of." Like to the point where I was helping out with other parts to replace what he had failed with whatever reason it was. Okay. Well, I got out of sales, right? He literally called me up. This is like 2 weeks ago, left a message on my phone. I called him back and he's like, dude, I'm so glad you still work there. He's like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not even trying to buy any parts from you right now. He was in a more, how we get return parts. He was like, if you get any return parts for a 6 liter Excursion, just shoot me a call and I'll buy them from you. I'm like, right on, man. He's like, and I just wanted to thank you for all your help you gave me on my last truck. And this was years ago. That's just how we operate here. And we are tooting our own horn because again, I challenge you to find another store that has that sort of mentality with every one of their employees. It just doesn't happen. So that's a good shop to buy from.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting at. That's not a red flag.
That is not a red flag.
That's a
Green flag.
green flag.
Green
Yeah.
flag.
That's a green
Second flag, if you will. You won the race.
Yeah.
You won. Yeah. But yeah, the red flag with the shop shit, that would, man. And I'm not going to lie, it seems to happen a lot with
should I bring up that
7.3
whole
stuff.
issue? So the guy, again, I'm not going to name names. He went to Davis Diesel and he...
Subtle, like a freight train.
he went to, for some sort of... I can't remember the exact issue. Anyways, they quoted him $24,000 replaces basically his DPF, his DOC, his EGR, EGR cooler, EGR valve, injectors, and a turbo.
Yeah.
Everything failed.
What caused that?
A massive failure here.
Yeah. It wasn't
But they quoted him $24,000. After I got the message, I put a group of parts together.
Keep in mind, this is a third gen 6.7, if I recall correctly.
Third gen 6.7. Yeah, I can't remember the exact year.
I remember being an early emissions truck.
It was.
Yeah.
After quoting them out, all the parts that they had quoted them out, I was in parts less than $8,000. And so they were charging $15,000 in labor. I don't freaking think so, man. That's straight up taking advantage of someone.
Mm-hmm.
And then to turn around and offer to buy the truck from them is the biggest slap in the face and the big, you know what I mean? What that to me is so rude. You don't offer to buy someone's truck. If they offer to sell you their truck, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But for the shop, be like, listen, this is a big ass bill. I take that truck off your hands for $3,500. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
That's just wrong. That's just wrong. Because then you got to think, okay, maybe they're inflating the price on this repair because maybe there's someone there that's looking for a truck like this. And maybe, I take good care of my truck. It's a clean truck. It just needs some parts, and they're thinking, oh, we can get a good deal on this truck, guys. Let's
it needs a sensor.
Yeah. that shit does not fly with me. Like, that is not cool.
No.
And that, I joke about not naming names and that kind of thing. That's why I named that name, because that is so far in the wrong. Like, that should not even, again, it's a different story if the customer was like, oh man, that's a big bill. I was like, hey, you guys just want to buy the truck from me? Like, what would you offer me for the truck? That's a different story altogether. The shop should never offer to buy the truck from you because of the repair bill.
If I couldn't look my wife in the face if I was on that side of the deal, like on the shop side of that deal. Like,
it's disgusting to me. That's, I mean, who knows? Maybe this guy loves his truck.
Yeah.
What if he takes really good care of it and is just like, man, I just have this issue and didn't realize it was like literally every system in the truck. Like, how is that possible?
Yeah, all I think of right there was that Cat Williams.
Yeah.
How'd you fuck up everything?
Yeah, like seriously.
Not one thing, not two things, but everything.
Like that to me is just so out of like that's just so wrong. It just it just makes my blood boil. That if that ever happened to me, I'd be hard pressed not to punch the guy in the face.
Yeah.
And go, now you're gonna fix it for free, little bitch.
Yeah.
Like, how about now?
I like to think I typically keep a pretty cool head in certain things like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like that would be like, are you serious?
I'd be like, I'm not paying you for diagnosing.
Like,
my truck, if you took anything off of my truck, put it back together, I'm coming to pick it up, or I'm having a tow company come pick it up and I'm bringing it to another shop.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. I'm not paying you. That is so disrespectful that you would do that. Done.
Yeah. It's just downright fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
I don't know how you operate with.
And then you shoot them up to Deer Park Diesel because they
actually do real work.
They actually do real work.
Bergie and the boys up there get it done.
Yeah.
And shout out to them. Here's a good green flag for a shop. I don't recall what the system is called, but they have it's like finally a shop in the 21st century. I know there's probably shops in like, California and highly populated areas that do that and whatnot. And especially now that cameras on phones and applications have become, the last 3, 4, 5 years, a lot easier to make and do and facilitate. But they use a shop service that allows them to send, through an app or text updates, pictures, recommendations, get approvals. And not only do I love the fact, because I got out of working on vehicles, I think the camera phone I had was like 2 megapixel.
Yeah,
you ain't doing shit with that.
Right.
Like, you take
That's
a picture.
Potato phone.
Yeah, it is a flip phone, potato phone, man. And I take that back. No, it was a BlackBerry.
Oh,
old BlackBerry.
Still potato, but
Still potato. No flip. Still potato. Solid flat potato.
Yeah.
Potato. And even then, there were technicians I was working with that had digital cameras to cover their own asses and kept their own files, because the dealership, this is mostly when I was working at Toyota, the dealership didn't have the ability to save their own pictures. So they would take these pictures and save them on their company laptop, because each technician, once you hit a certain level, you got your own laptop, and is it Sunnyvale Toyota, and they would save all their files on there so that when someone came back and said, you said you did this, or this isn't good anymore, blah, 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 like, nope, here's the picture, here's the timestamp, here's what it is.
Speaking of like Blackberries, this was before both of your guys' time here. This was like the thing back in the day. Have you ever heard of the Banks PDA?
Yes, with the
Dude,
stylus.
Look at the screen that Banks used to have.
That thing's tight.
I know, it still looks cool. They had what do they call it? The Power PDA.
I remember seeing that on like Power Block.
Yeah, dude, it was literally
It had a little stylus.
Yeah, it had a little stylus, dude. Oh man,
that was high tech shit.
that was high tech shit back then.
I'm literally bebop booping with it, on my truck.
On my
This is
truck,
amazing.
yeah, 6-gun with Power PDA.
That's badass.
It's kind of cool.
You bring that back. Bring it back.
Bring back the PDA Banks.
Yeah, but the fact that they're able to use that and document that kind of stuff and explain things to people with pictures and or videos through their phone. It gets them updates faster. It gets the customer in the know. It gets things approved even faster. There's no phone calls. There's no descriptions. There's no let me talk to my dad. They can literally take the picture, forward it to your dad, forward it to your husband, whatever. Everybody gets on the same page. And I hate to sound misogynistic there, like it's always a woman taking a car and to get fixed. But it always, being a service rider, especially the first time I was a service rider, it was in San Diego to Pet Boys. And no, sorry, that was the second shop I was a service rider at, right next to San Diego State. Can't tell you how many dads I talked to on the phone.
Yeah.
So many freaking times.
Yeah.
But just it's the nature of the beast. You know, it's part of running a shop. And the fact that I want to say it's called Service Monkey. That's not right. I could be totally Bergie or anybody at Deer Park. If you're listening, chime in, you know, on the comments or something like that, or let people know, and we'll announce on the next episode or something like that. But I know that you guys are doing something really cool up there, and it's I was already a fan of you guys, and that sealed the deal.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm pretty sure they're the only shop in Spokane actually using that right now. He's a diesel shop that knows what the fuck they're doing. You need to go to them.
Yeah.
The fact
100%.
that they are like have the wherewithal to have that speaks volumes.
100%. 100%.
So I think that's going to wrap up this red flag episode.
Yeah.
Hopefully this was a green flag for you guys. And if this is your first time listening, just know that we talk about a lot of random stuff on this show.
Don't put up the white flag. Look for the green flags and avoid the red ones.
That's a Sports Center finish there, folks.
Yeah.
Damn, Tyler. Trademark.
That's pretty good. You know, white
Don't
flag.
be dumb.
Surrender. Don't surrender.
Be smart.
Yeah.
Being dumb is dumb.
Being smart is smart. We're going to leave you with that.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe and check us out at dieselpowerproducts.com.